This is Rabbi Aaron Boxt back again with my podcast. I know it's been a few weeks, but a lot of things have happened since my last podcast. Let's see, I was at Camp Coleman on faculty for 2 weeks, or 13 days, I guess, which was a lot of fun. Very hard work, obviously. It rained every day, so it was wet as well, but I really do enjoy the time with my colleagues who are friends, and also to be able to experience camp, and of course to be there with my kids and with my kids, and of course for Bacha and I to be able to watch them in their happy place. I will say that this was the first summer since we've had kids that we didn't have any kids with us in our room, because one of our children was a counselor and the other two kids were in bunks. So that was nice to have the nights free with Bacha and to be able to hang out with my colleagues and without the kids. Then of course came back, and within a week and a half or 2 weeks we had taken Carly and dropped her off at Florida Atlantic University, where she's a freshman, and she had her first classes this week, so she is now officially, I can now officially say that I have a college student in my home, which is a scary thought. Well, she's not in my home anymore because she's living at school, but it's a scary thought that that I'm old enough to have a child that age, but also it's as a parent, you want your children to become independent, and you do everything you can to teach them to how to live lives as independent, eventually now adults, but also to make sure that you're teaching them all the things they need to know about how to treat other people, and how to live on their own. And it's a lot. When Bacha and I went into Carly's room and in the house, and cleaned it up, and now made it the cleanest room in the house because no one lives there. I've gone back in that room a couple of times since, and it's only been a week that she's been off to college, but in many ways it feels no different, because we still talk to Carly at least once every day, and obviously with the ability to be in contact with someone all the time is very different now from when I was in college. But you know, it I will honestly say that I cried first. It was tough for me, seeing my daughter, be by herself and go off as an independent. But she's I'm very proud of her, and she's going to do a lot of really amazing things. And the littles will now get to have all of our attention, which they haven't had since they've been alive, because Carly's also been there. And we look forward to seeing her soon. We're going to be in Orlando in a little while, and then we have the High Holy Days, so we'll see Carly every so often, and she's not that far away. She's just a few hours away if she needs us. But today, August the 22nd, this would have been my mother's 76th birthday. She died in 2004, 20 years ago. Wow, 20 years ago. And every year it gets easier. It's never easy. Carly is named after my mom. She's Carly Leora. My mother was Claire Lilly. So taking Carly and dropping her off to college, and then a week later celebrating or remembering my mother's, what would have been her 76th birthday, it's a lot of emotions all over the place. But I'm sure that my mother is proud of Carly, and of me and Bacha, and how we've raised Carly, and it's a tough experience to drop your kids off at college, especially when they're your first. But I'm sure she'll do great things, and I have no doubt that she'll be successful in whatever she does. So getting back to my mom, and it being what would have been her 76th birthday, I called a congregant today who had been a little under the weather, and I spoke with her, and this woman has reminded me of my mom all in a lot of very good ways since I met her. And I didn't know this, but she's also 76 this week. Now, she's 76 on the 26th, so my mom is 4 days older than her. But to go from speaking to this congregant and then realizing today's August 22nd, and then realizing that the woman I always have thought was very similar to my mother is actually the same age as my mother, it's a very interesting thing that the older I get, the more I understand these little these little nuanced experiences have so much meaning on our lives. And I have these great memories of my mom, and these great memories I'm making with my congregant and my other congregants. It's really an amazing thing to think about how life works in the way that it does, and all these little coincidences, if you will, these acts of these moments that happen in your lives that are so unique. It's truly amazing to think about. So we're coming up very closely to the end of the month of Av, which means that the month of Elul is coming up. And with the month of Elul, that means we have 30 days before the High Holy Days, before Rosh Hashanah, which means I've got a lot of work to get done between now and then, and a lot of time for us to reflect and think about what our lives are going to be like in the upcoming year, the things that maybe we made mistakes, the things that we did wrong perhaps in the previous year, and how we're going to adjust our lives and do differently in the year to come. These are all very important things that we need to be considering as we get closer to Rosh Hashanah and the High Holy Days. And for now, I wish you all a Shabbat, an early Shabbat Shalom, and look forward to being back with you again next week for my next podcast.